So, one of the great sessions yesterday was for everybody to sort of give us their perspective on what is the key challenge within the industry. And Jason and Pam and the moderators of those discussions, I know the names, but I'm not going to say it because I'll miss somebody. Have prepared a summary for you of the outcomes from that discussion, and I'm going to ask Jason to come up and make that presentation. And I want you all to have a really great day today. I'll be back.
Thank you, Jeff. So thank you to everybody yesterday for your participation in that breakout session. I recognize and understand that the activity we asked you to do is a bit chaotic, and but it was fun to watch as I went throughout the different rooms, the activity, the interaction, and the energy that was being showed in each of those breakout groups. Lots of good feedback. We got a stack of cards. We have everybody's cards, so we have everybody's feedback, everybody's information. It's a big stack of cards. Pam's got it here. And if you look over on this wall, what we did is we broke out and listed the top items that came out of, or the top scoring items that came out of each of those breakout groups. And I'm not going to go through all of them and read them to you. You guys can take a look at them as you have time throughout your day. But Pam, if you would, I think we have, yeah, thank you. So here's the question that was posed, or that was asked. From your perspective, when thinking about the future of the paddle sports industry, what are your biggest challenges to overcome in having a healthy, viable business 5 to 10 years from now? And so we spent a lot of time just thinking about what is the question that we would ask. We have time for one question. How do we try to encompass everybody's perspective? So in some way, shape, or form, we're involved in this industry. We have a business, whether it's a personal business through an independent sales rep, or a retail business, outfitter business. Even the associations that are part of our membership, that's also, even if it's not profit, that's some sort of business. So we're thinking about how do we get perspective from each of those individuals or entities about the future, and what are you thinking about? So it was really good to see, as we were looking at the feedback post-breakout session yesterday, that there are some consistencies across the different groups. And so as we roll forward, we'd really like to pluck out the 2 or 3 items that are consistent across the board that we can work on. There's certain things that obviously we won't be able to spend time on, and we don't have control over. There's maybe state laws or taxes, whatever that is. But we're going to focus on and put our energy into the commonalities or the consistent themes that came out throughout the 4 different breakout groups. So Pam, if you could pop that up. So from the associates group and our friends group, again, I'm not going to read these off to you, but this is, we did our best to try and capture the exact verbiage that was on the card. Sometimes it was a little bit hard to discern or read handwriting, but we did our best. So these are the top items that came out of the associates group. And we pulled the scores off. The scores are only relative within the group. They don't really matter between the breakout groups. But this is listed. The number 1 scoring item is on top, and then as the scores kind of lowered as you go down. We didn't list everything here. We need 47 slides. So we just put together 1 slide for each group. So I'll give you guys just a chance to read through those here for a moment. And what I'd like to do also is, so Risa Shimoda, she facilitated this group. What I'd like to do, if Risa would be willing to come up, and so these are the words that were on the cards, but I'm asking each facilitator to come up and give you some perspective or sentiment that they may have gained just through the conversation within that breakout group. We'll call this color commentary. Risa, thank you.
Can everyone see these? Read it. So the associates were the most, I think, heterogeneous. There was the most variety in the associates group. Nonprofits and media. Tom from the Coast Guard was there. So it was a kind of a hodgepodge of all sorts of people. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm not a talker. The associates group was lots of different kinds of people, more different in terms of what they do than I think the other groups. And I think this is both reflective of what they do and the variety. But you see a lot of outreach, education, awareness, start at the grassroots, information, education, lifestyle, community. So what's interesting, I don't think any of this would surprise you, particularly if you saw the types of people who were in the group. But what's interesting is that there were a couple of cards that said we need to maximize margin in order to, or profitability in order to do more for the industry. That always got a low score compared to this, and the comment, like when I was going around, the comment was always, well, this needs to happen before people can be interested, be exposed to the sport, and to walk into a store. So not that it wasn't important, but this is really important. So marketing people would like get this, outreach people would get this, and if you're the bottom line person, you know, looking at tomorrow, it might look fuzzy. But that was the orientation of the group, and so it was consistent in the cards.
Risa, thank you. The next group, if you could, so we have retailers, outfitters. I'll just, same thing, I'll let you guys have a few moments here just to read through this list. And this group was facilitated by Brian Vincent. So Brian, if you'd be willing to come up and add a little, you guys are having a great conversation after the activity was over, so I think I'm excited to hear Brian's color commentary from this group.
Full color commentary?
That's why we're here, full color commentary.
Good morning. So yeah, retailers were probably in the room the longest. That was not a great surprise. We have a lot of passion. And I'd say that for the most part, what you expect is what you see on the board, right? Direct to consumer is an issue, but I think it was also an issue that was recognized as not going away, right? There's not a mythical world in which that disappears. So how do we address it, right? Where are the pain points that we can actually get to and try and have some sort of agreement? And what I would, like to start off with is, it's very easy to sit at home and complain about issues, right? We see that in politics, we see that in everything. I want to commend every retailer who showed up here and who showed up yesterday and voiced their opinion. It's needed. I'm grateful that you were here to do it because there's power in that. So when you go home and you talk to other retailers, tell them, come to the room, be in the conversation. It's important. If we're going to find a way to move forward, we got to do it together. And so having everybody in the room is imperative. In that direct-to-consumer mindset, you know, in-season map changes affect retailers greatly. We fill out pre-seasons at the beginning of the year. We try to forecast the best we can. The last few years have been a little bit of a challenge. But then if a brand or manufacturer changes that map policy mid-season, that affects our forecast. And that has to be recognized, and we got to figure out a way to move through that. Because what happens is if you erode our margins, as you can see from the board, it begins to affect our employee workforce, our ability to retain qualified people who then hit the ground running and communicate and build community, right? We are the ground force of building community. And so if you erode our margins, we have less money to pay people a livable wage, and we have less psyched employees who are on the ground bringing more psyched people into the industry. So that point, I think, was driven home very well. You know, all the things that you see as far as cost, you know, are all driven by that erosion of margin. And the more you see that, the more pain points you see that in independent retail, I think the more, you know, there may be a short-term gain for brands or big boxes, but the long-term is the loss for the industry because you lose those frontline warriors who are doing the work to build that community. So those points were well stated. I will say that it was a great joy to stand up and watch everybody shuffle and talk. And I'm sure that happened in all the other rooms as well. Just to have us in a space where we can come together, communicate effectively together, and game plan it, like from a place of strength and resiliency, right? We talk about, Steve made great points yesterday about paddle sports needing to branch back into the bigger outdoor recreational space. And those are salient points. But what this can be is a base of strength from where we build that culture and that resiliency that we then take into those greater outdoor recreational spaces. So I want to say thank you as a board member to everyone who showed up, brands, retailers, associates, and who have engaged in this process, because sometimes it will get uncomfortable. And that's okay, because we're all in this together, right? And we're a family. There's going to be some uncomfortable moments. But as long as we're honest and we truly endeavor to look out for the greater good of what is this industry, we'll make it through. And so I just want to say thank you for everybody who showed up, and particularly because I come from that retailer space, thanks to all the retailers.
It's great having somebody with a politician's background up here on stage. It makes us look really good. Brian had a fun group yesterday, and he managed it very well. And so on to our brands and manufacturers. So Sam, I'll give you all just a chance to read through this list for a moment. And this breakout group was facilitated by Phil Walzinski. So Phil, if you'd be willing to, Phil, are you here? There he is. Sorry, my peripheral vision's not that great this morning.
He's a fan.
All right. Well, first thing, I just want to thank all the brands for showing up for that session. It was a large session. It was a little chaotic, like Jason said. He actually helped me out with that session a fair bit. If I'd have known how loud that room was going to get, I would have brought a bullhorn, because I started losing my voice about halfway through. It was only a 45-minute session. But you know, for me, it's really exciting to get to this point and to be at this event. All the board members and the folks that helped to get us to this point know that it was stressful getting here, and now that we're here, it's actually a big relief to see everybody in the room. For me, I think the biggest thing that I'm excited about is really going forward from this point, and what we did yesterday, where we started identifying these topics, I think is really what this group is going to be about in the long term. So. You know, now it's time to take these topics and really go forward and form those subcommittees, those working groups, so we can start working on a few things. As far as the brands specifically go, I don't think there was a ton of unexpected. I should probably get out of the way of a ton of unexpected comments. There were a few that maybe caught me off guard a little bit, but you know, you can kind of read through it and see what we did. You know, I just encourage everybody to get involved going forward after this event, to really grow and start problem solving and working on some of these issues together. Thanks.
Phil, thank you for your help yesterday as well. The fourth group was our sales reps. In reading through this list, you can see quite a bit of commonality between the sales rep group and the retailer outfitter group. And this group was facilitated by Rob Boson. So Rob, if you'd be willing to step on up here and give a little feedback on the sentiment of this group.
Good morning, everybody. Wanted to, first of all, thank all the reps who've come and participated in that session. That was awesome to see everybody. I think there's two main topics that as reps we recognize, and one is, you know, our success is directly tied to retailer success, and that's a strong bond. And so anything that is harming our retailers' ability to maintain margin over the long term hurts not only the retailer, hurts the reps as well. And so there's a large concern around how do we create a healthy environment for retailers over the long term. And the second topic that I would say we focused on was just the fact that we have, even with healthy retailers, we have some of them aging out and not having a succession plan in place, and not having a clear path towards when those owners go away, who's going to take their spot. So I think those are the two main topics that kind of bubbled up yesterday, and we look forward to continuing to have that discussion as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. So now as we move forward, my time here is just going to be short. I'm going to be done here in a minute. But what we'd like to do is invite all of you the opportunity to participate as we roll forward. As Jeff has said, we're not solving these issues here at this conference or at this event, but I think we've done a really good job of identifying the issues. They've all been there. I don't know if anything that we saw here is surprising to anyone, but what we've done now is we've got it out in the open, we've got it on a wall, we've got it on a board. We now have the platform to do something with it. And so I'd really invite those of you who are interested in helping solve these issues to volunteer, be part of the process. Yes, this is a volunteer organization, and we'll be donating our time, but it's in the general health of our businesses and our industry. So please come see one of the board members, see Jeff, see Pam, get your name in the hat, and then at the conclusion of this event or in the weeks to follow, Jeff or somebody within the PTC leadership will follow up with you as we start figuring out how do we go about addressing these issues. All right, thank you, Jeff.
All right, that's great. I'll just reiterate, we need volunteers. What will happen with this list that we have from the outcome from this sessions will be taken to the board. We'll be having a lot of discussions from a board perspective about the priorities and what we choose to pursue. It's pretty clear what we're going to be doing, for sure. And then the board will also be initiating specific board steering groups and working groups, and we need volunteers to participate in those. I'll just reiterate what Jason said. Please contact Pam or I directly about it. You could also use info@. I'm Jeff.Turner@. Pam is Pam.Dillon@. And please write us emails. If you've got an opinion on any of this stuff, even if you don't want to volunteer, please contact us and let us know what you're thinking and where we're going. Okay, thank you very much. It was, I think, a great session, really good session.